What's up everybody, Game Over Jesse here with another top 10 list. This time, you all asked for the top 10 best Easter eggs. So we'll be showing off our favorites from Zelda, Destiny, Assassin's Creed, The Last of Us, Metroid, and many others, as well as a few honorable mentions. If you enjoy videos like this, please give us a like, as it'll let us know to continue making videos for all of you. If we miss one of your favorite Easter eggs, comment below and let us know, as well as what you would like to see from future top 10 lists. If we use it, we'll be sure to give you a shout out for requesting it and bringing it to our attention. We just ask that you please subscribe to help us reach our goal of 50,000 subscribers. Then click that notification button so you don't miss out when those videos go live. Number 10. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Retro's Donkey Kong Country series has a lot of cool details and Easter eggs hidden in the background of certain levels. One of the best is Samus's gunship showing in the background of the secret level Busted Bayou. What makes this a bit better is that Retro, the developers of the game, are also responsible for the incredibly popular Metroid Prime trilogy on the GameCube and Wii. Does this hint at a shared universe, or is it just a nod from the developers? You decide. And while you're at it, please let us know what kind of Nintendo crossovers you would like to see in future games. Number 9. For Honor. Probably one of the newest games on the list, For Honor has a few different Easter eggs that I'm aware of. But one that stands out to me is the callback to Mortal Kombat. Seeing as For Honor literally is a game based on combat between mortals, I can see how the developers thought to give a little wink to the franchise. For those who may not be familiar, a common stage in the Mortal Kombat series called the Pit takes place on a bridge high above a spike pit. In the background of this stage, you can see another bridge showing two other people fighting, one who looks just like any other character, and another who looks like a fan of Ghost Rider. Fans have since named these two characters Blaze and Hornbuckle. Blaze went on to become a character featured in a few games, while Ed Boon, the creator of Mortal Kombat, has said Hornbuckle was actually supposed to be the character model for Liu Kang. As a For Honor fan and a Mortal Kombat fan, it's great seeing the developers pay homage to other franchises that inspired them. Number 8. Final Fantasy 15 and Futurama. Just like the last Easter egg on this list, this one also comes from a series I like, paying homage to another series that I like. In the game, you'll encounter the moving mountains. When you do, Gladius and Prompto tell an obvious bad joke and end it with the famous Futurama quote. Gladius begins by stating, "I would never think of a mountain moving." It seems even those at Square are a fan of the infamous Zoidberg. Now all we need is to convince whoever owns the rights to begin a new season.
Your music's bad and you should feel bad.
Number 7. Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. This one is kinda sad because it was ultimately cut from the game, but some of it can still be accessed. In Superstar Saga, several different famous Nintendo characters were all meant to make an appearance. Link, Samus Aran, Fox McCloud, Wario, Captain Olimar, Egad, and even the Excite Bike Racer. They all had official artwork made for the game and dialogue coded for them, but in the end everything was scrapped. They were meant to each give Mario and Luigi different items. A Game Boy Horror instead of a Game Boy Horror SP, Wario's Gold instead of a Greed Wallet, a gold ring instead of a bonus ring, a UV lamp instead of a cobalt necktie, an energy tank instead of a power grip, and of course a Triforce instead of the Great Force. In the end they were each scrapped, but if included, could have potentially been one of the biggest cameos and Easter eggs found within any Nintendo game. Moving on to our next bonus Easter egg, Batman Arkham Asylum, the map for Arkham City. This one I feel a lot of people already know, but not many actually found this themselves. If you did, congrats. For those who don't know, in Arkham Asylum, if you go to the Warden's office in Arkham Mansion, in the center of the left wall, use explosive gel 3 times, and the explosion will show an entrance to a secret room that doesn't appear on the map. Now, the secret room itself could be counted as an Easter egg since it is hidden, but inside the room, you'll see blueprints for an expansion of Arkham Asylum that will take up an entire city district. You'll even see the word approved stamped on it. The blueprints were a tease for the then upcoming but unannounced Arkham City. Number 6. Bayonetta 2 and Star Fox. So what if I told you the best HD Star Fox wasn't actually a Star Fox game, or even made by Nintendo? In fact, it's a playable Easter egg from Platinum Games in Bayonetta 2. You could say Nintendo came in and saved the Bayonetta franchise. In fact, the producer of the series said this: "If it were not for Nintendo, a second game would have never been released." So whether this Easter egg was put in as a request from Nintendo, or as a way for Platinum Games to show their appreciation, I'm not quite sure. But several other third-party games that released on the Wii U had their own elements of Nintendo sprinkled in, Tekken Tag Tournament and Monster Hunter being the most well-known. However, this is quite possibly the best of them all. If you wear the Fox McCloud costume before selecting the aerial section of Chapter 16, you'll transform into an R-Wing. In this state, dodging is naturally done by doing a barrel roll. At one point, you'll even see 3 more ships fly behind you in a cutscene. If only the official Star Fox game on the Wii U, Star Fox Zero, looked and played this great. But we can all cross our fingers for a new Star Fox game on the Switch that takes full advantage of the power in the console, and hopefully, we won't need to use 2 separate screens for controlling it, which was the cause of a lot of issues with gamers. Number 5. Star Wars and Frozen Jar Jar. Debatably the best and worst thing about the Star Wars prequels is Jar Jar Binks. To many, you naturally hated him, but he was so stupid that it actually made him likable. So fans had a good laugh when he showed up frozen in carbonite just like Han Solo. But this actually happened in 2 separate games, and could be a running gag for future games. The newest appearance is in Disney Infinity 3.0, in the Rise Against the Empire playset when you go to Jabu's palace. As soon as you enter, look at the wall to your left and you will see frozen Jar Jar in all his glory. He also makes an appearance in The Force Unleashed, where he is still frozen in carbonite. In real life, a full-sized statue was made at Industrial Light and Magic, and in 2012, an exclusive action figure was given out at San Diego Comic-Con. Number 4. Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs. As stated previously, one of my favorite types of Easter eggs are ones that references other games or franchises. What makes it even better is when the reference isn't just a reference, but is meant to be proof of a shared universe. We'll get into a similar Easter egg a bit later, but a few different connections can be made linking Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed franchise with their newer Watch Dogs series. In Black Flag, once you're out of the Animus, you can walk around and freely roam a section of the building. While doing this, you will come across an email involving Bloom, a corporation that runs CTOS, the security system found in Watch Dogs. Something that stands out but is a slightly smaller nod is how the gameplay of the present has you hacking these computers to gain more story information. As we all know, hacking is the main gameplay mechanic from Watch Dogs. Finally in the game, your character's boss leaves for a business trip, the trip being in Chicago, the setting of the first Watch Dogs game. So can all of these be looked at as an actual connection of the 2 series? Or is it just a fun little tease at the then upcoming Watch Dogs? Number 3. Halo 3, ODST, and Destiny. This was mentioned in our previous list of top 10 mysteries in gaming, but as it is technically an Easter egg, it deserves a rightful spot on this list. During Halo 3 ODST, in the level Mambosa Streets and during Firefight on certain maps, this poster can be seen. It has an image of Earth with a similar object to that of the Traveler, with the words "Destiny Awaits" written at the top. We can even see the blatantly obvious symbol for Ascalon below the Earth. Ascalon being a vehicle manufacturing company in the Destiny universe. At the time, no one really knew what Bungie was trying to hint at with this poster. A lot of people just looked past it as nothing more than what it appeared to be, a simple poster. Now, we know this was a clear hint at what to expect from Bungie's next game, Destiny. The problem was, at the time, Destiny wouldn't even be announced for another 4 years. When Microsoft released the Master Chief Collection for Xbox One, they made sure to remove the promotion for Halo's biggest competitor's name. Number 2. Uncharted and The Last of Us. As I mentioned with the Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs connection, one of my favorite types of Easter eggs are those that hint at a shared universe. This is exactly what Naughty Dog did with Uncharted 3 and The Last of Us. In the first chapter of Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception, on top of the bar table, the player can find a newspaper with the headline of "Scientists are still struggling to understand deadly fungus," which refers to cordyceps brain infection. To strengthen the connection, the Pelican Inn, the bar that you find this Easter egg in, can be found in The Last of Us, but this time under the name of Old Sullivan's Pub. As always, before we get to the number 1 spot, it's time for a few honorable mentions. If you are enjoying the video so far, give this video a like, and we ask again to please subscribe to help us reach our goal of 50,000 subscribers. The first credited Easter egg is actually from a game called Adventure on the Atari 2600. While Atari may be a great company now, back in the 70s they were horrible. They would remove any reference to the developers who were basically the main reason for the game's existence. They did this so they wouldn't be credited, referenced, or be able to collect royalties from the game. With each game potentially selling millions of copies and the developers not even having their own name credited with the game, you can see why some would find clever ways of sneaking their names into it, only to be found months or even years after the game's release. Today, Easter eggs have become more of a nod or a wink to the player instead of them trying to receive recognition for something they should have been given in the first place. Before we make our way to our final Easter egg, we have one last bonus for you guys. These are all probably some of the most well-known Easter eggs, but this is why I feel they need at least a small mention. That and Zelda just happens to be one of my favorite series. In Ocarina of Time, Talon and Ingo, the brothers from Lon Lon Ranch, were made to resemble the brothers Mario and Luigi. Malon and Talon both wear a browser brooch. When entering Princess Zelda's courtyard, you can see pictures of various Mario characters through a window. And finally, the El is Real statue, as many fans refer to it as, from Super Mario 64, is reused in the second dungeon, Dodongo's Cavern, except this time it actually gives you helpful advice. Number 1. Breath of the Wild. Almost every location, and even many of the NPCs in Breath of the Wild, are in reference to something from past Zelda games. Nintendo has specifically put a focus on visual connections to the original Zelda game, with the official artwork inspiring one of the first moments in the game. The Guardians were even inspired by the Octorocks. We have Kilton being the new Happy Mask salesman. Areas named after characters from past games, like Darmani from Majora's Mask, the ranch ruins resembling Ocarina of Time's Lon Lon Ranch, the ruins of the Arbiter's Grounds from Twilight Princess. Even the CDI Zelda games are referenced, like this giant skeleton in the desert. We even have famous quotes from past Zelda games displayed in Hylian text for those smart enough to translate it. Something interesting that keen players will have noticed is the hand placement of the first Sheikah monks that Link meets. A clear visual of the Triforce can be seen. However, the most important reference is also one of the saddest. Nintendo's president Satoru Iwata is honored in the game in 3 different ways. Many fans probably know he passed away while Breath of the Wild was in the middle of development. The first reference to him is this NPC, a Hylian traveler named Botrick, who very clearly resembles Iwata. The second reference is the location that Botrick mentions, Satori Mountain, which is named after the spirit that lives there. The third reference is the spirit, which is given the title Lord of the Mountain. An in-game description of the Lord of the Mountain enforces these references even more. It says, "This noble creature watches over all animals that make their homes in the forest. Legends say this holy creature is a reincarnation of a sage that died on the lands it now protects. It has an acute awareness of its surroundings, so it seldom appears before people. It's sometimes known by its other name, Satori." If you enjoy the videos on my channel, please consider subscribing, checking out my second channel focusing on movies and TV shows, and my Patreon where you can join in as a guest in upcoming videos, watch new videos first, you can have me join in and collaborate on videos for your own channel, have custom artwork or custom avatars made of yourself or for your channel, and much more.